Hello, welcome to the self-learning platform by Dr. Sushma Singh. Today we start Unit 10 MK Gandhi and we start with topic evils of industrialism. Gandhiji was against industrialization on a mass scale because it leads to many insoluble problems such as the exploitation of the villagers, urbanization, environmental pollution, etc. He wanted manufacturing to be done in villages and by the villagers. This would keep the majority of people of India fully employed. They would be able to meet their basic needs and would remain self reliant. Even modern machines could be used provided they did not lead to unemployment and become the means of exploitation. Gandhiji considered the prevailing industrialization as a disease. Let us not to be deceived by catchwords and phrases, he admonished. Modern machines are in no way indispensable for the permanent welfare of the human race. He was not against machinery as such. He was against industrialism, that is, industrial and mechanically mentality. Industrialization is, I am afraid, going to be curse for mankind. Exploitation of one nation by another cannot go on for all time. Industrialism depends entirely on your capacity to exploit. India, when it begins to exploit other nations, as it must if it becomes industrialized, will be a curse for other nations, a menace for the world. It is because of this perspective that Gandhiji suggested the boycott of mill made clothes and manufacture of handmade clothes in each and every household, particularly in the rural area. The efforts he made to promote Khadi was just a beginning of the movement. He wanted to launch to promote village industries in general. One must see Gandhiji's concept of basic education or Nai Talim in relation to his movement for village industries. Next point is concept of Swadeshi. Swaraj, as we would see later, does not mean just political freedom. Gandhiji ascribed a far deeper meaning to this term. It means self control to begin with. Swaraj and Swadeshi go together. Swadeshi is that spirit in us which restricts us to use the services of our immediate surroundings to the exclusion of the more remote. Much of the deep poverty of the masses, he felt, is due to the ruinous departure from Swadeshi in the economic and industrial life. Swadeshi will not merely reinforce autonomous local units, but also build cooperative relations with others with whom they need to associate. If we follow the Swadeshi doctrine, it would be your duty and mine to find our neighbors who can supply our wants and to teach them to supply them. Then every village of India will almost be self-supporting and self-contained unit, exchanging only such necessary commodities with other villages as are not locally producible. Swadeshi and self-sufficiency go together. The former is possible only if the latter is accepted as a matter of principle. Each individual, each family, each village, and each region would be economically self reliant. Self sufficiency does not mean narrowness. To be self sufficient is not to be altogether self contained. In no circumstances would we be able to produce all the things we need. So, through our aim is complete self sufficiency, we shall have to get from outside the village what we cannot produce in the village. We shall have to produce more of what we can in order thereby to obtain in exchange what we are unable to produce. There are two other concepts which go together with Swadeshi. They are decentralization and cooperation. Interdependence is and ought to be as much the ideal of man as self sufficiency. Man is a social being. Without interrelation with society, he cannot realize his own oneness with the universe or suppress his egotism. If man were so placed or could so place himself as it to be absolutely above all dependence on his fellow beings, he would become so proud and arrogant as to be vertebral burden and nuisance to the world. Dependence on society teaches him the lesson to humanity. He felt that the value of self sufficiency central to Swadeshi has its limits. Self sufficiency too has a limit. Drops in separation could only be fade away. Drops in cooperation made the ocean, which carried on its broad bosom grey bounds. The concept of Swadeshi for Gandhi is encompassing. In religion, it means to be faithful to our ancestral religion. In politics, it means the use of indigenous institutions. In economics, it emphasized on the use of things produced in the immediate neighborhood. One must prefer locally produced things, even if they are of relatively inferior quality or costly. It does not mean that one should hate foreign made products. Gandhiji had a place for foreign made goods, especially medicines and life saving drugs, if they are not produced in the country. Now let us have summary of the unit. There is a remarkable consistency and continuity in the political ideas of Gandhiji and the uses he put them to. Gandhi considered man as embodying the spiritual principle in him, which is divine. His self realization is the prime task of every man and woman, which While man is not perfect and desires the mundane interest constantly, pitch themselves as his prime wants, he has an innate disposition to seek his spiritual realization. If the spiritual nature of man has to be privileged, then men's priorities have been to be ordered accordingly. He therefore bitterly criticized modernity and its insinuations, which confine man to this world and its allurement. He argued that the divine nature of man makes religion to engage itself positively with the world. He did not agree that religion should be separated from politics. He thought that politics offer great opportunities to serve others, and such service is an essential attribute of religion. While Gandhi believed in his own religion and thought highly of it, he had equal respect for all other religions, considered all of them as true, but not without shortcomings. He considered that ends and means are integral to each other. He did not subscribe to the idea that good ends justify appropriate means. He applied this principle to the pursuit of truth as well, which he considered as God himself. Truth as end and non-violence as means are inseparable. While Gandhiji appreciated the need of power in the absence of fully self-regulated and self-directed order, which he called Swaraj, he did not consider political power as an end. It was only a means to serve the people, especially the poor. Its primary purpose is to enable people to be themselves and to establish the conducive conditions for the purpose. He was the votary of Swaraj, who meant more than political freedom. Swaraj to him meant self control. A person who can control his thoughts, words, and actions is well disposed to self realization. If all are imbued with Swaraj individually and collectively, an ideal society would become a reality. He saw democracy as an art and science of mobilizing the entire physical, economic, and spiritual resources of all the various sections of the people in service of the common good of all. It cannot come about by untruth and violence. Gandhi considered capitalism, communalism, and socialism as socio political systems that do not recognize adequately the freedom, equality, and dignity of the individual. Their priorities remain lopsided. He advocated the principle of Sarvodaya, the rise of all, which ensures basic needs of all and extends equal consideration to all. Gandhi rejected the concept of homo economicus on which the modern economics and civilization is based. Gandhian economics focuses on meeting the basic needs of all through self employment. This is possibly only if The wants are minimized and they are placed in perspective with the essential strive of men. Gandhi believed that trusteeship ensures creativity and initiative, ensures freedom, which at the same time ensuring equal distribution of goods. Gandhi stood for village-based decentralized system of governance. He wanted to see villages as self-governing republics with maximum autonomy, but at the same time cooperating and interdependent upon one another. He defended Swadeshi, wherein all the basic needs of citizens can be met locally. Gandhiji not only encountered strong opposition to his ideas but also received support in ample measures. But these consequences did not deter him from holding fast to his ideas and formulate his practices accordingly. Here we want to wind up this lecture and we have come to the end of the unit. Thank you so much for your attention.